Gentlemen, let me open with a chilling truth. You could be lying next to a woman every single night and not realize she's already gone. She smiles. She says good night. She sits at your table, eats your food, laughs at your jokes. But her mind, her emotions, her heart, they're no longer with you. And the scariest part? She won't tell you directly. Instead, she drops tiny phrases, soft, almost harmless sounding words that slowly signal her exit. Words that keep you blind while she creates distance. And while you wait, hoping it's just a phase, you're quietly losing respect, losing dignity, and losing your place in her life. So in this message, I'm going to walk you through the 7 phrases women use when they're already leaving, without admitting it outright. By the end, you'll know exactly how to spot them, how to respond like a man with clarity and control, and how to protect your self-respect before it's too late. But before we begin, let's connect. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, drop a like, and let me know in the comments what city you're watching from. I love seeing how far this community is spreading, because every time a man wakes up to the truth, it creates a ripple effect. Now let's break it down, because the first phrase you're about to hear might sound innocent, but it's often the beginning of the end. Phrase 1, I feel disconnected. At first this sounds like an opportunity. She says it, and your instinct is to fix it. You scroll through memories, wondering what you did wrong. You start planning, maybe I'll be sweeter, maybe I'll plan a trip, maybe I'll try harder in bed. Stop. That phrase is rarely the start of a problem. It's usually her quiet announcement that attraction has already faded. When a woman still burns for you, she doesn't need speeches about connection. You see it in her eyes, in her playful touch, in her impatience to be alone with you. Disconnected shows up when closeness has already died. Here's the psychology. Most people can't bring themselves to say, I don't want you like I used to. That feels cruel. So instead, they borrow spiritual sounding words. Disconnected, misaligned, not in sync. It feels deep, but it's vague. And that's the point. Look for the supporting signals. Her replies turn polite instead of warm. Her phone suddenly becomes a locked vault. She stops initiating intimacy. Compliments vanish. She's energized for everyone but you. That's not mystery. That's redirected desire. And here's where men ruin themselves. They start chasing the disconnection. They over-explain. They over-text. They overcompensate. And all that communicates is, I'm negotiating for something that used to be given freely. That kills attraction. So what's the move? Stay calm. Don't beg. Don't plead. Say, I hear you. I want clarity, not confusion. Let's set aside time this weekend for an honest talk about what's changed. Notice what you did there. You offered a container, a space where truth has to show up. You didn't whine. You didn't collapse. You led. Now watch what happens. If she leans in, keeps the appointment, brings specifics, and shows willingness to rebuild, great. You co-create a plan. But if she dodges, postpones, or returns with vague poetry, like I just need to feel more aligned, that's your answer. Avoidance is an answer. Misdirection is an answer. A woman who wants you will risk discomfort to keep you. A woman who doesn't will hide behind nice-sounding fog. Your move then is dignity, not drama. If we can't have clarity, I won't live in confusion. Step back. Stop performing for crumbs. Because a relationship can survive conflict, it cannot survive indifference. Phrase 2, I need time for myself. On the surface reasonable, everyone needs space, right? But in relationships, context is everything. Women rarely say this when things are alive and connected. They say it when their attention is drifting elsewhere. And here's the brutal truth. Time for myself often isn't about meditation or self-discovery. It's about emotional freedom to explore, without accountability. Psychology 101. People hate to admit betrayal, so they disguise it. Instead of saying someone else excites me, she frames it as self-growth. It sounds noble. It relieves guilt. Meanwhile, you're left thinking you should be patient and supportive. Translation, you're being asked to hold the safety net while she tests new thrills. That's not love. That's betrayal dressed up as self-care. So here's your test. Say calmly, I respect your need for space, but I need clarity. Does this time mean we're moving forward together, or does it mean you've already checked out? Be honest so I know how to act. That's strong. You're not forbidding her, but you're not blind either. If she defines what she wants and demonstrates effort, there's hope. If she stays vague, recognize that vagueness is the answer. And if she dodges too long, don't stay in limbo. Say, if this time means uncertainty, then I choose certainty. I won't live in standby mode. Because a man who waits forever for her to find herself, eventually loses himself. Phrase 3. Not everything has to be physical. On the surface, true, intimacy isn't the only measure of love. But here's the catch. When attraction is alive, you don't need to announce it. It just happens. The moment she starts saying this, what she's really doing is rationalizing the absence of desire. Psychology. This is a shield. By saying not everything has to be physical, she reframes herself as enlightened, and reframes you as needy. Meanwhile, her body language tells the truth. Quick hugs, short kisses, excuses about stress or fatigue. Her desire isn't gone. It's just not aimed at you anymore. So what's the move? Say, I agree. Intimacy isn't everything, but it is essential. Do you still want that closeness with me? Direct, calm, unflinching. If she reassures you with words and effort, you can rebuild. If she dodges or guilt trips you, understand she's protecting the appearance of partnership while already withdrawing from it. And your move is clear. Stop begging for intimacy that should be mutual, because you're not her roommate, you're her man, or you're nothing. Phrase 4. You've changed too. This one's sly because it sounds balanced, but it's not about balance, it's about shifting guilt. When she says this, she's preparing her alibi. If you confront her about coldness, secrecy, or betrayal, she's already got her defense. Well, you changed first. That flips the spotlight off her and onto you. The psychology here is classic. People invent narratives where they're the victim. Blame justifies betrayal. Impact on you, devastating. You start apologizing for things you didn't even do. You replay your habits, your tone, your routines, wondering where you slipped. And the more you chase her approval, the less attractive you become. So what's the antidote? Say, yes, I have changed. Tell me exactly what you've noticed. That disarms the vague accusation. It forces specifics. A woman who's real will give examples you can discuss. A manipulator will stay foggy. If she dodges, understand she's not seeking truth. She's seeking cover. And your move is simple. I don't carry guilt without proof. I won't play defendant in a trial with no evidence. That flips the frame. You're no longer the accused. You're the judge of your own dignity. Phrase 5. I don't want to talk right now. I'm tired. Every couple has tired nights. But when this becomes a pattern, it's not about exhaustion. It's about escape. When a woman still desires you, she finds energy for conversation. She might be exhausted, but one text from you brings her back to life. When she starts hiding behind tired, what she really means is, I don't care enough to deal with you. The psychology here is dangerous. Avoidance is a slow form of exit. It's non-confrontational, it's socially acceptable, and it slowly conditions you to stop expecting connection. Your move, don't fight or roll over. Say, all right, rest tonight, but we need to sit down this weekend for a serious talk about the distance between us. I'll set the time. That shows empathy and authority. You're steering the ship, and if she dodges again, cancels, or keeps postponing, that's your answer. A relationship that never makes time for truth doesn't matter anymore. Phrase 6. I don't know what's going on with you. Sounds innocent, playful, even, but it's a trap. This isn't curiosity, it's projection. She knows what's happening. Her desire is fading. Her attention is drifting. But instead of admitting that, she flips it back on you. Suddenly you're the mystery. You're the strange one. Psychologically, it hooks you. You start analyzing yourself, trying to fix something that isn't even real. And in doing so, you lose your frame. So how do you counter it? Say, I see clearly. We're drifting. If you think otherwise, let's define what's really happening. I don't live in gray zones. That reclaims clarity. It challenges her to stop hiding in the fog. If she engages, there's hope. If she dodges, laughs it off, or stays vague, she's not confused, she's covering. And you don't wrestle with fog, you walk. Phrase 7. I love you but I'm not in love with you. This is the final, most polished phrase, the breakup classic. It sounds gentle, even compassionate, but really, it's emotional execution, wrapped in soft paper. What she's saying is, you're safe, you're familiar, but you no longer excite me. It's not love, it's pity, and pity is poison to attraction. Psychology. People hate being the villain, So they create categories, love versus in love. That way she can walk out while keeping her self-image intact. The danger: you hear the words "I love you" and cling to them like a lifeline. You double your effort, more gifts, more dates, more surprises, but effort can't buy desire. She's already moved her passion elsewhere. So your move: say, if that's how you feel, I need clarity. Are you willing to rebuild with me, or are you already gone? That forces a choice. If she hesitates or stalls, the truth is clear, and then you deliver the line that saves your dignity. I wasn't born to be loved halfway. Then step back, not in bitterness, but in dignity, because a man who stays after that line isn't loved, he's tolerated. And gentlemen, you weren't born to be tolerated. These 7 phrases aren't harmless, they're signals. Together they form a pattern. The slow withdrawal of a woman who's already checked out, but doesn't want to be the villain. Here's the truth: if you ignore these signals, you're not just unlucky, you're complicit. The stronger move isn't to beg or explode, it's to test, demand specifics, ask the hard questions, require clarity, and when the truth shows itself, act. Because relationships can survive conflict, but they cannot survive indifference wrapped in polite excuses. You're not here to be a placeholder, you're here to be chosen fully. So I'll end with this. Comment below: I see the signs clearly now. Subscribe if you want more tools to protect your mind, your dignity, and your future. And share this with the friend who keeps excusing the inexcusable. Gentlemen, you're not here to be furniture in someone else's life. You're here to be the man who's chosen, respected, and loved, fully, without disclaimers. And that begins with self-respect.